plan down to Lismore Island. I'm a little late on the water, but it's quite windy today, so I think we should get down there okay. It's currently forecast to be up to about 25 miles an hour today, so I'm sailing with just the mizzen sail and the jib. Here's Lara. Tupac's a bit of a softie. He's down in the cabin there, asleep. We'll hope for some. It was super windy coming out of Tobermory Bay, Tobermory Harbour, but now we're out in the Sound. There's actually not much wind at all. It's dropped right off and this heavy showers just come through. It's a little bit frustrating because I'm just bobbing, probably doing about half a knot. I don't know whether to put the mainsail up or wait a few more minutes. Often it looks like the rain's going to ease off, and often once the rain stops the wind will kick back up. I've got the mainsail up with one reef in it. We're going quite well at the moment. Looks pretty grim in the rain. We're averaging between 4 and 5 knots. It looks brighter up ahead, so hopefully we'll get down into that better weather. The wind picked up again, so we've gone back down to just the jib. The sun's out now. It's quite cold in the rain and the wind, so it's nice the sun's still got a wee bit of warmth. You can see behind us, looking back towards Tobermory. It looks quite nice there, and that's kind of where the wind's coming from, so hopefully we'll get a wee bit of sun. Just about level with Salem. It's actually a wee bit windier than I was expecting. It's quite choppy, and I think rather than pressing onto Lismore Island, I'm going to continue and stop in Loch. I think it'll be more sheltered there. I don't know what the anchorages on Lismore are like, but I know Loch is very nice and sheltered. There'll be good places to walk the dogs, so I'm going to head over that direction and anchor up in there. Rain again. Pretty rainbow, nice. Come past the Squall Island, the last one. We're just coming into Loch now. I was hoping we'd be able to sail all the way in, but I'm not so sure now. It was really windy out in the channel, in the Sound, and I had the jib reefed down to about half of its full size, but literally here we're in the shelter of the rocks, and the water's just glassy. We made it into the harbour. Had to use the engine in the end because the wind was really light. There's a super bright rainbow. We've got a nice sheltered spot. It's so calm in here compared to out in the Sound of Mull. It's hard to believe it's the same day. Lots of nice native woodland in behind us. First job is to get the kayak blown up and take the dogs in for a wee. We're just at anchor still, preparing some dinner and thinking about tomorrow's plans. Obviously today I made the decision to cut it shorter than I intended. The sea was quite choppy and the wind was probably a good 20 to 25 miles an hour, which for some people that would be fine, but I made the decision to pull into this little harbour and have some nice food and take the dogs for a walk. Tomorrow I may still continue to Lismore Island. I'll check the weather forecast and see what the conditions are like in the morning. It's not that far from here, so it's tempting to continue. It's about 7 o'clock the next morning. I've just come ashore. It's a beautiful calm morning. You can see my boat out there. We're just walking along this track. It's annoying. I just got ashore and put on my dry socks and shoes. Then I slipped straight in a little stream and got my foot wet. But I'm just off for a walk, give the dogs some exercise, and we'll look at the wind when we go around the corner and see the sound, and look at the wind and make a decision as what to do for the day. There's amazing blackberrying along the side of the track here. Actually, these ones aren't as big as some of the ones I just had, but there's so many. Because it's been raining in the night, they've all gone a little bit soft and smushy, but they're great to eat now. Good for snack for breakfast. We've been for a walk for about an hour. I found if you're ever taking a dog out sailing or paddling, making sure the dogs have plenty of exercise before you get on the water makes the dog a lot calmer. So we've had a good walk and then just having a little play before we head back out to the boat. Up we get, come on! Come on Noah! Come on! Good girl! Come on little guy! Oh, good boy! Just heading out to the Loch Allen. I'll put the engine on just to get us out of the harbour. The forecast for today is looking really good. Northerly wind, about 10 to 15 miles an hour. So it should be quite a short sail down to Lismore. I'm looking forward to getting down there and exploring the island. We're just passing Ardtornish Castle, which I believe was built in the 14th century. I was thinking of walking to it this morning and having a look round, but actually I didn't walk that far. But we've got a pretty good view of it here. We're underway with sail power now, wind power. I've got the reef, the mainsail reefed, and the jib, and obviously the mizzen. Probably don't need the mainsail reefed at the moment, but just because I don't know how windy it's going to be further around the coastline, so, and I can't be bothered to reef and unreef, or unreef and then reef again. So we're going quite nicely. We're going with the tide. So although it's quite calm, I think we're doing about 4.5 knots, which for this boat is a good speed. The view looking back over Ardtornish Castle. So another nice rainbow. It's hard to do it justice with the camera, but this stretch of coastline is stunning. It's got this native woodland, and you can see this crag, and it's got waterfalls just pouring over the crag down into the native woodland. Looks like there'll be a nice anchorage up in here near this house maybe, so I'd love to come back one day and spend some time here and explore out some of this woodland. We rounded the corner now, so we've got a good view of Lismore Island up ahead. This is going round into Loch. There's the Morven Peninsula. There's the land on the left there, and then the mountains down there with the tops in the cloud. I think that's looking down in towards Glen Cove. On this side, this is Mull, obviously. You can just see down to Duet Castle. I'll zoom in so if you can see it. Approaching Lismore Island. I felt the jib up initially when we were going downwind, but we're going across the wind now, but I still going nicely without it. It's a nice breezy day. Low lookout. Doesn't really chill out. She's always constantly on lookout. It's funny, when you're on the boat it feels like you're really close to the rocks, but when you're on the land the boat looks very small and very far away. We made it up to the ruins of the castle. I believe this castles from the 12 or 1300s, so it's a little older than the one that we sailed past earlier. This is the view up Loch. There's a boat out there, it looks like a catamaran maybe. Looks like he's absolutely flying. You can see how thick the walls are. A good probably 1.5 meters thick. There's an old staircase going up here, which I don't really fancy, to be honest. It looks quite loose up here, so I'm probably going to stay out. You can see lots of rock has fallen down over the years. It's a beautiful spot. You can see the view you've got. This is out towards the little bay where I'm anchored. Miles out behind it. The view you get in both directions, it's just amazing. Back aboard. The conditions haven't calmed at all. In fact, if anything, they're a little bit rougher. You can see looking out of the cabin. That's the castle up on the hill. That's the engine bobbing about. I'm still hoping it's going to get a bit calmer. High tide is in about an hour, and I think once the tide turns it will start to calm down. I'm just in on the beach again. I did a bit of fishing earlier. I thought this channel behind me, the water was flowing through it, and I thought often where you get that moving water it's a really good place to catch fish, but unfortunately today I haven't caught anything yet. I might try again. It's a really nice sunset. Or maybe a sunset's not the right word, but it's a really nice evening. Pretty colours. Look at that. The stuff dreams are made of. The moon just coming up over the island, over Lismore. Looks like they've got a temperature inversion down in Fort William. And the mountains just look amazing. Just setting off under full sail. The wind did veer easterly in the night, or southeasterly. It's very light at the moment in here, but I think once we get further out and into the Sound of Mull, I think the wind will pick up. I think it's about 20 miles in total back to Tobermory. So hopefully the wind will pick up and we'll make good time. It's been such a nice morning. I'm quite sad to be heading back, but unfortunately I've got some stuff to do, and yeah. Quite far in the distance, but there's some harbour porpoises. This is looking back to the spot where we anchored. You can see the car slap there, and you can even see the arch that we looked through. The mountains in behind. In this light wind, the boat pretty much sails herself. Laura looks like she's steering, but she's actually just sitting, and the boat's steering herself. Tupac's in his usual spot, in his bunk. Tupac! You tired out? Sleepy dog. Going against the tide here, unfortunately. I didn't plan this very carefully, and you can see the water here is absolutely gushing out. We're just passing Loch where we stayed the first night. We've only been on the water about 2¼ hours, so even though we're against the tide, we're still making good ground. I think it was 9 miles between the two anchorages, so we must be doing close to 4 knots, which is pretty good going. I did know we'd be sailing against the tide, but without waiting, it seemed pointless to wait for several hours for the tide to turn when the wind's good, and it's only really like when there's a little headland it just squeezes the tide, squeezes the water and accelerates the flow a little bit, and then once you're past the headland it slows down again, so overall it's not too bad. see the summit of Benmore, which is the highest mountain on Mull and the only Munro on Mull. Tobermory just coming into view. You can just see it behind Carve Island. Just coming around the corner into Tobermory. It's been a really great sail today. The wind has just been perfect. The tailwind all the way. It's only taken about 5 hours. There you can see the harbour. It's been such a great trip. This is us just arriving back in Tobermory. It's been such a great trip. Great winds yesterday and today. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll hopefully get out again on some more sailing or paddling adventures soon.